Good morning, Devils fans, and happy Halloween. I hope you all get your favorite piece of candy today. And in the spirit of the holiday, I wanted to give us a little bit of a treat, hopefully create a little bit of discussion. I was originally thinking of doing the Calder Trophy race, comparing Luke to his peers, but taking a look at the chart, there's actually quite a few number of rookies that are doing very well so far to start this season. I might save that video for tomorrow when I have a bit more prep time for it, or maybe get a few more games into the season, see if becomes a bit more of a divide there at the top of the pack. So instead, kind of keeping with that same theme though, I'm going to do a comparison of Luke Hughes and his brother Quinn on who is the better defenseman at this point, not Quinn's rookie season to Luke's, but right now in the 2023-24 season, 8 games into the year, who is the better player between Luke and Quinn? Well, we know Jack's opinion when he was asked was Luke was the harder one to play against in their summer practices. Now, has that held true to start the year? As we know, Quinn is already getting lots of discussion around, is he a top 10 defenseman? Is he a top 5 defenseman? Is he a top 3 defenseman in the NHL? And should he be getting some Norris love? Well, I'm here to argue, how does he compare to his younger, possibly better brother in Luke? So to start off, like I said, they both have played 8 games so far this year, so that makes it a nice clean comparison. Now, obviously, level of competition between the two, yada yada. I'm not going to get into that quite, but I'm going to just dig into the numbers a bit and see what they tell us. As you know, I've watched every game of Luke, but I haven't watched every shift or every game of Quinn, so I'm going to try and be as objective as possible, just looking at the numbers. Obviously, not full context to go around these numbers as best as I can provide, and I'm sure I'll have some Canucks fans in here telling me where I am missing context for Quinn, but I mean, he does look fantastic, and I'm a huge fan of his. So yeah, let's actually go into the numbers now. For reference, they both have played now for this start here. I'm going to do 5-on-5 only, not going to get into the special team stuff, as Quinn has played just over 138 minutes at 5-on-5, and Luke exactly 117 minutes. So you got just over 20 extra minutes there for Quinn. So when you're talking raw totals, just keep that in mind. Right off the bat, if you're talking about pressure in their own zone versus putting it on in the opposing team zone, they're both fantastic. They are generating much more chances for their team than they are having chances generated against them. For Quinn, we are looking at a Corsi for percentage of 57, just under 57.5%. And we have Luke at 58.8 at just under 59. Raw totals there is 146 versus 134, with Quinn having more. And against 108 for Quinn, 91 for Luke. So pretty much neck and neck, just over or just under 1.5% divides them. But Luke gets the edge there with the slight advantage in Corsi 4. Well, now what about Fenwick? Because, you know, block shots do matter. It's part of the game. So what do numbers bear out there? Well, we have Quinn at yet another amazing just under 54% at 53.98, with Luke at just over 54%, 54.25. Raw totals 95 to 81 with Quinn, and 83-4 to 70 against for Luke. So numbers are very close. You know, what is that there? A quarter of a percentage point, really. But once again, Luke edges Quinn out just barely in that department as well. Well, now about actual raw shots. Things that actually get through, not just the advanced analytics. What are the actual shots that are going on the ice with these two? Well, Quinn finally gets his first dub with 69-4 and only 63 against. He has a shot share of 52.27%, where Luke is at 53-4, 55 against, actually below 50% at 49.07. Quinn gets the advantage there. Now we know hockey's a very random luck-based game. Some shots are going to get blocked while others don't, even if the mechanics of the game are the exact same. So that's why I usually do prefer Corsi or even Fenwick over that as well. But I want to give the full details here so you guys can kind of come to your own conclusions and not just off of my opinion comparing the two. Now, the biggest discrepancy in these two is going to be the actual goals on the ice. I'm going to get a bit more into this in just a moment, but raw numbers here, we're talking Quinn is at 9 goals for and only 1 against, a 90% goals for share. Pretty sure that is one of the best in the NHL, especially when you're looking at someone that plays the minutes that Quinn does. While Luke is at 4 goals for and at 7 against. Now remember, this is 5-on-5. Luke has been a bit of a power play merchant, but he's at a 36.36% goal for share at 5-on-5. Not stellar. Most Devil fans will tell you that is because Brendan Smith is on the ice with him, but Luke has had his fair share of blunders as well in his rookie year, tripping right at middle ice and having a guy beat him back and getting a goal against. Smith has also had similar things happen, but I don't have context for all of that one goal against Quinn and everything, so I'm just going by raw totals here, guys. Now, what I actually prefer over raw goal totals is going to be the expected goals for and against. Quinn here, you're talking 51.58 expected goals for, very admirable, to Luke's 52.3, so less than a percentage point between the two, but Luke once again gets the edge there as well, as he does in all of these percentage-based ones. That's Corsi, Fenwick, expected goals, and now actual scoring chances. Again, this is purely just looking at every shot that's on the ice has a chance to go into the net. Quinn, very good, 56%. However, Luke again better, 61.54%. Yeah, okay, maybe Luke is just potting some low danger chance shots on net, right? Just trying to stack the numbers a bit. So what about the actual high danger stuff? The ones that really matter, the ones that actually have a chance of going into the net. Well, we got Quinn at 53.45 to Luke's astonishing 53.66. Again, Luke gets the edge over Quinn, just barely. Raw totals there if you want to know, 31 to 27 for and against for Quinn. 22 to 19 for and against for Luke. You're talking very small discrepancies there. Obviously, Quinn with the larger ice time does have the higher totals. I would say on a percentage base, if you compare the ice time to the raw there, Quinn is putting up more chances per 60, but he also is getting more against per 60. But now when you go into the actual raw goal totals, not just, does a goalie make a miraculous save or is there someone on a shooting bender and the puck actually goes in, just what actually happened on the ice. Quinn, 6 goals for, high danger, 1 against. Luke, 3 and 3. So Luke is at 50% to Quinn's 85.71. Again, fantastic actual on-ice numbers for Quinn. No one is arguing that as well. Again, huge Quinn fan. I think he is absolutely crushing it. But on the margins, Luke is edging him out in a ton of areas. Medium danger chances. Quinn, very, very good. 58.21%, 39.428 against. Luke, 65.79% at medium danger chances, 54.26 against. That is really, really strong numbers for Luke there. One of the more clear edges that Luke has had in these. But if you go into the actual low danger chances, this is where Quinn's feasting. 94.60 against, 60% low danger chances for. Luke with 57.450 against, 53.27. So finally, a percentage-based one where Quinn does get the edge. Now, is it the low danger ones and Luke beats him out at medium and high danger chance percentages? Yes, but hey, credit where credit is due there for Quinn. Now, what I was talking about earlier with the actual on-ice numbers, where can we bear those out? So Quinn, when he is on the ice, his team is shooting at just over 13%, and he is getting just over 98% save percentage. Luke, however, when he is on the ice, is getting 7.5% shooting. So 13% shooting for Quinn, 7.5% for Luke when they are on the ice. And the save percentage for Quinn, again, just over 98% to Luke's 87, just over 87%. So that right there tells you Quinn is getting a lot of saves when he is out there. And they're also nothing crazy. 13% is not insane of a shooting percentage, but it is very strong. Where Luke's 7.5 is not very good, and that 87% save is also not very good. So when you bear that out, the luck stat that I've talked about before, PDO, Quinn is on a bender with those two. 1.115 is a very high PDO stat to Luke's low 0.948. What that tells you is we're only 8 games into the season. We're just under 1/10 of the way through. Bear that out over enough times. That should get you to Quinn getting a bit better shooting percentage and save percentage, while Quinn's should both also come down, or at least that save percentage should. And if you keep that in mind, those raw totals, so the percentages probably don't change too much because, that's just taking into account the actual shots, the chances that are generated, not if they're actually saved or not. That's where Quinn's getting all those raw total advantages. And so if these percentages, the high dangers, the Corsi, Fenwick, all that stuff stays as is and keeps trending this way, the actual on-ice raw totals should bear out to be much more in Luke's favor as the year actually goes on. One last thing I really wanted to point out between the two to kind of hammer home this point, where are they actually starting their ice? Is Quinn getting a lot more defensive responsibilities? Luke is getting a lot more ozone, and that's just kind of, helping Luke out in getting those better, maybe if you start out in the defensive zone, you're going to get a few shots against you before you get the transition play. You get, less ice time in the O zone then to bear out some actual offensive numbers. That's kind of giving Luke the edge here in all these. No. Quinn gets 22 offensive zone starts, 32 neutral to 14 defense. So that's 22 for Quinn to Luke's 14 in the O zone. 32 Quinn to 20 in the neutral zone for Luke. 14 defensive zone starts to 18 for Luke. So when you look at an offensive zone percentage start, Quinn starts just over 61% of the time in the O zone, where Luke is 43.75%. So again, Luke is getting a lot more defensive zone responsibilities. Now, I will say caveat here, Quinn is the top pairing guy. He's going against a lot more of the top competition, where Luke is not. Luke is third pairing. He's definitely getting some of the easier matchups in that sense, but still, he's definitely getting the harder zone percentage time. Now, real quickly, I did want to touch on the actual full game, because you can say, okay, yeah, that's 5-on-5. Yes, that's where most of the game is played, but PK and power play is still part of the game. What do the numbers look like then? Well, I'm going to quickly go through them, as this video is already going a bit longer than I thought. Quinn, in total, is at 196, just over 196 minutes of time of ice to Luke's 157. So you got basically 40 minutes extra there for Quinn. So I'm just going to go by percentages, not giving you the full numbers. For Corsi 4, percentage for both. Quinn, again, this is full all situations. So power play, 4v4, 5-on-5, penalty kill, overtime, everything, right? 60.73, amazing for Quinn. Corsi 4 percentage to Luke's 65.99. Again, Luke gets the edge there. Fenwick, unblocked shots. 57.51, amazing numbers there for Quinn again, but Luke, 62.2. What about actual shots now? This is where kind of Quinn had a bit of an edge last time at 5-on-5. Well, 56.44 percentage there for Quinn to Luke's 59.09. Luke actually gets the edge there when you bring all situations. Obviously, the Devils having the best power play in the league helps a ton there, but like we were saying, that is part of the game. Expected goal share. Quinn actually gets the edge here now at this point, where he is now at 88.89 goal for, oh no, that's goal for, not expected goal for percentage. So we knew those were all numbers to Luke 70.83. The expected goal for, which I put a lot more weight on, 59.44 for Luke. Still really, really good numbers. Luke, however, 59.44 for Quinn. Luke, however, is 65.46. Astronomical type numbers for Luke coming in here. Actual scoring chance percentage, 60.11 for Quinn. Both these guys are insane. My God. To Luke's 69.14. Gonna just keep running it down here. High danger chances, Quinn 57.5, Luke 63.33. Medium, 62.04 for Quinn, 72.55 for Luke. And finally, low danger, 62.76 for Quinn, 64 for Luke. Hey, I don't think I need to repeat myself too much here. That is Luke dominating in basically every analytical, statistical category you can think of. Just absolute domination across the board for Luke here. One part that he does get the advantage on, this is probably the power play starts for him. O-zone start percentage in all situations. Quinn drops actually to 56.52 to Luke's 62.96. So all situations, Luke does get a lot more offensive zone time. Even if 5-on-5, he gets less so than Quinn does. So I threw a lot of numbers at you, a lot of percentages, all that stuff. If you stuck with me this far, you at least found it somewhat interesting. So what's my conclusion here? Luke dominates in basically every statistical, every analytical category you can think of. Who do I think is better? Well, it's still Quinn. Quinn's fantastic. He's amazing. Yes, I can point to all these numbers here, but Luke does get a bit sheltered. He is getting the easier matchups, and he does play on the greatest greatest power play unit right now in the league. So that's where all those all situation numbers really give him a huge boost. And really, Luke's playing with a much stronger team. Let's be serious here. Quinn's basically playing with Pettersson and Demko, who's playing amazingly, and then a bunch of guys those guys are carrying, where the Devils are just an absolute stacked roster. Even if we're having our struggles a bit in the middle six, it's still an insane roster that he's out there with night in, night out. So I am giving, when Quinn's on that ice, he is driving play. The easiest way you can make the difference here is if you look at the numbers when Quinn is on the ice for when he's not on the ice, it is staggering. Versus when Luke is on the ice and not on the ice, it's not as big of a difference. So yes, I prepped this on up a little bit, maybe a bit of a trick here on Halloween for you guys. Luke is dominating, but I'm still giving the edge here to Quinn on who is better current year. If I go same age, though, I'm going to tell you right now, Luke is going to be the better player compared to Quinn at the same age season. So it's going to do it for this video, guys. Happy Halloween again. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. As always, and forever, let's go down.